You are no longer that young person who can learn without effort. Every mistake weighs more, and every opportunity you let pass reminds you that you can't wait any longer. And suddenly, someone appears. A little person who needs your help with something that seems simple but isn't. English. Will you have the courage to take the first step? Join us to discover Miguel's story and how he faced his fear while learning words and improving your English along the way. Miguel is 41 years old. He's tired. He worked all day. He arrives home and sits on the sofa. His son, Mateo, 9 years old, comes in with his notebook. "Dad, can you help me with my homework?" Miguel smiles. "Yes, of course." Mateo points to a word in the book. "Dad, how do you say this word in English?" Miguel looks at the page. He reads the word, but he doesn't know the answer. He stays silent. 1 second. 2 seconds. His heart beats faster. He feels embarrassed. He feels small. He wasn't ready for that question. He looks at his son. Mateo watches him with that confidence that his dad always knows what to do. And that hurts even more. "Let me check it on the phone," he finally says. Mateo nods. But inside, Miguel feels something heavy. It's not just a word. It's the feeling of not being able to help. It's remembering all the times he said, "Later I'll learn." And that later never came. It was like a bucket of cold water. For the first time, he didn't feel tired. He felt in debt. There, he understood something he had ignored for years. The problem wasn't age. It was fear. Fear of starting. Fear of failing. Fear of discovering that maybe he wasn't as capable as he thought. But there was an even stronger fear. He didn't want his son to grow up thinking his father wasn't enough. He didn't want him to look one day and see a man who was always afraid to try. And for the first time, he felt that he could no longer continue the same way, because failing at English didn't scare him as much as failing as an example. Then something happened. Miguel is in bed. He keeps a thought running through his head. The house is silent, but he can't sleep. He moves. He sighs. His wife notices something and opens her eyes. "Are you okay?" "Yes, just thinking." She looks at him for a few seconds. She has a feeling. "I notice you're worried." Miguel stays silent. He doesn't know if he should tell her. "Did something happen at work?" She asks. "No, it's not that." Another pause. Miguel looks at the ceiling, swallows, and says, "Sometimes I feel like I'm falling behind." She doesn't fully understand, but she listens. "In what way?" Miguel takes a deep breath. "I feel like I'm not growing." Then I settled. She moves a little closer. "And does that scare you?" Miguel nods. "I don't want the kids to think giving up is normal." That phrase comes out without him planning it, from the deepest part of his heart. And at that moment, he understands what really hurts him. She takes his hand. Miguel squeezes hers a little tighter. She smiles and says, "Then don't give up." Silence. No blame. No pressure. Just a simple truth. Miguel looks at the darkness. That thought becomes clearer. Now, his fear has a name and a face. He's not afraid of learning. He's afraid of becoming the wrong example. He knew he had to do something, and that idea would no longer allow him to live the same way. Weeks go by. Miguel has taken a few classes. The first days are difficult. He feels slow. He makes many mistakes. He doesn't understand everything. But he is consistent. He doesn't miss a class. That is already different. Over time, he begins to notice something. He no longer just wants to attend. He wants to improve. He starts arriving 10 minutes early to class. He reviews at home at night. He takes notes more carefully. He looks for ways to advance. He watches videos on the internet. Some are from very well-known teachers. But he also discovers small channels, simple channels, without big degrees, without complicated words. People who teach patiently, as if they understand the fear of starting from scratch. And that helps him more than he imagined, because Miguel doesn't need something perfect. He needs someone to explain it without making him feel less. And little by little, he begins to understand better, not because it's easy, but because he is no longer running away. But in class, there is something that still makes him uncomfortable. There are younger people. They learn quickly. They pronounce better. Everything seems natural to them. Sometimes, Miguel compares himself. While they speak with confidence, he thinks, they are progressing faster. Maybe it's too late for me. Maybe I'll never be at their level. That thought presses on his chest. For a moment, he wants to stay silent, to go unnoticed. But something has changed. Instead of giving up, he begins to observe. He notices they practice without fear of making mistakes. They repeat the words several times. They also fail, but they keep going. They aren't perfect. They are consistent. And Miguel understands something new. Comparing himself could sink him or it could push him forward. He decides to use it as motivation. If they can improve, then he can too. And that idea pushes him to practice more. To raise his hand, to try again, even if his voice trembles. One day, the teacher asks someone to read aloud. Miguel feels his stomach tighten. He thinks he is ready, but not entirely. He knows he could stay quiet, but something makes him reconsider. He raises his hand. When he starts reading, everything begins well. The first sentences come out clear, and then the word comes. He stops. He pronounces it. His voice trembles. He feels it's wrong. He tries to correct himself. His hands are sweaty. He makes another mistake. Time seems to stop. He hears some soft laughter in the back. It isn't strong teasing, but for him, it is enough. It is a small mistake, but it feels enormous. He feels heat in his face. He wants to sit. He wants to disappear. For a second, he wants to go back to being the man who didn't try and just gave up. But he gathers strength and finishes as best he can. The teacher thanks him for his effort, but Miguel barely hears. The silence feels heavier than the mistake. After class ends, he quietly says goodbye and leaves. He walks home, thinking, maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe it's too late for me. Fear knocks on the door again, and for a moment, he thinks about giving up. But the night isn't over yet. While he is at the table, Mateo comes up with his notebook. Dad, can you help me with this? Miguel looks at him. The real test isn't in the classroom. It is here. For a second, he hesitates. He remembers the laughter. He remembers his mistake. But he takes a breath. He reads the question. He doesn't understand it perfectly, but he understands enough. He explains slowly. He makes a mistake in one word. He corrects it. Mateo smiles. Thanks, Dad. Nothing extraordinary. Nothing perfect. But this time, he doesn't have to stay silent. He doesn't need to be the best. He needs to be there. And while watching his son return to his room, Miguel understands something important. He hasn't improved as much as he wanted, but he has improved enough not to give up. And for the first time, effort weighs more than shame. That same night, Miguel goes to bed. The house is silent. His wife notices something different. Are you still thinking? Miguel takes a few seconds to answer. Yes, but not the same. There is a pause. Today I made a mistake in class. She doesn't say anything, but I raised my hand and tried, he adds. Mateo asked me something, and I could help him. It wasn't perfect, but I could. Then he leans toward her and hugs his wife. She only takes a moment. Without words, she understands everything is okay. Miguel looks at the ceiling. He remembers the fear from that other night. He remembers the shame. He remembers the doubt. They are still there, but they no longer have control. He breathes deeply, and a small smile appears on his face. This time, he isn't going to leave it for later. Every step you take to face your fears and learn something new is more important than being perfect. You may not be a young person who learns without effort anymore, but your experience is on your side. You know how to value each try, each mistake, and each opportunity. That gives you an advantage. And if you fail, that's okay. You can try again. This time, the lesson is yours. You pay the price, not your parents or anyone else. Every effort you make is yours, and only you benefit from it. Like Miguel. If you choose to try, you will grow. You will learn. You will become an example for the people around you. But if you choose to wait, mistakes will pile up, doubt will grow, and fear will keep controlling your life. The decision is in your hands. Will you take the first step today, using your experience and learning from each try? Or will you wait for a tomorrow that may never come? Write in the comments what you choose. Take the first step, or wait.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to English Step Stories for more English stories step by step.